Welcome to Home's Room. Just like Homeroom, we start off our day getting together with our homies, swapping stories, even a little kiss and tell action. This podcast contains language not suitable for younger listeners, topics about sex and mental health. Discretion is advised. Our views are our own. Let class begin.
Welcome back to another episode of Home's Room. We have an impromptu episode, I guess, if you will, but also I don't know if you can see it, Caitlin, and I was hoping it was going to be like legible on the screen. I don't know if it is because it like might just barely be too far away, but right here it says "I heart pretzels" because I went to the pretzel truck and I got a bracelet. So I was like, I don't know where I'm going to put it, and like it's kind of small, so like I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And I was like, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do with it. I looked Alyssa dead in her face and I said, I'm going to put it on my mic.
I love it. I've been thinking I want to make her a pink taxidermy duck. For those of you homies that follow me on my TikTok, I have a new creative hobby where I'm putting costumes on taxidermy ducks and pranking my in-laws by hiding them around. And every time I'm like stumped creatively on what I want to make for the next taxidermy duck, I always revisit, I really need to make Alyssa and the Pretzely truck a pink taxidermy duck. But shout out Pretzely truck. That is a sick bracelet.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Took my mom, my mom's birthday was yesterday for us. But we went 2 weeks ago, I think, because she was in town, and I let my mom try one of the pretzels and she's been like, oh man, I never know where they're going to be. Or I always have something to do when it's here. So like I never get an opportunity. And I was like, well, let me look it up because I have it saved on my phone where they're going to be. So when people ask, I can tell them. So I pulled it up and I was like, guess what? On your birthday, she will be back in town. So she was like, oh, I'm going to save all my calories for a pretzel from the truck. So we took her to get pretzels yesterday for her birthday because she was really excited.
Shout out. I hope your mom had a great freaking birthday. Outstanding.
I think so. I have no idea. I'm me and the power went out, so I kept making fun of the fact that she was enjoying her birthday like back in the day when she was born and they didn't have electricity yet. So there's that.
Matt, but, what the hell?
and then I legitimately gave her just enough of a hard time so that she knew she loved me, but I did not go the extra mile like I normally would so that she knew that like I was giving her a break because it's her birthday. But
dude.
But yeah, it's gonna be a thing. No, I don't know. I say all the time, any motherfucker that knows me knows that if I'm not giving you a hard time, chances are I probably don't fucking like you. So if I give you an extra hard time, that probably means I love you. So do with that what you will.
I appreciate that as somebody that works in an environment where we're constantly giving each other shit, but it's like a love language. That it doesn't translate well to like normie friends that don't have that sense of humor, where I'm like, I've legitimate, like there's people that I love that are my husband's friends that I don't see very often that I've like tried to shoot the shit with, like that's my love language. That's almost predominantly what I do in the workplace. And they like get offended. They're like, oh, that's rude. I like this shirt. And I was like, I was just saying that it's really tight. Like, I don't know.
I'm here for it, and I also think that when it comes to, I'm gonna say I feel like sarcasm and wittiness has to be a love language on the list, even though they don't classify it that way. But only reason I think that is because if I can't be witty and sarcastic with you, chances are we're not going to get along in the first place. And if you're not witty and sarcastic, even the smallest bit back, I'm probably going to be like, you're boring, like a cat playing with like a toy, and then the toy doesn't interest them, and they just kind of like knock it under the couch and walk away and never come back to it. And you find it 15 years later, and you're like, oh hey. So since this episode does not have any real context to it, Caitlin, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to text you. I'm going to text you a link right now to an Instagram post that ties back to our conversation from the other day about the difference between the female gaze and the male gaze. And I've been waiting to send this to you, and we just haven't had an opportunity for it to like make sense. So coming through your text messages right now, just the image alone should be enough to be like, yeah, see, I get what you're talking about.
Yeah, I totally see what you're talking about.
Like,
It's
can
just
you
the
imagine?
post preview.
So describe that for our homies out there.
So to refresh on the conversation, we had some specific discourse about options available to the male versus female gaze, kind of looped in larger themes of patriarchy. But this is a TikTok or TikTok. Oh, this is an Instagram reel of a Russian man
Yeah, I assume they're
wearing
Russian. Yeah.
a pair of women's leggings. This is a very cute, attractive couple. She has dreads. I really like those actually. And they've switched outfits, and it is perfectly demonstrating some of the topics that we covered in that episode, because he's got those like cinched butt leggings on and a crop top, and she's like a comfortable gym shorts and like an oversized t-shirt. I know which of the two of those outfits I would prefer to wear on my own body. She says in an oversized hoodie, but
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
It's just so funny to me because it's like, yep, that's what I was talking about, and it just doesn't. In itself, as soon as I saw it, I was like, I have to send this to Caitlin. This is so funny. But like the thing that always like comes back to my mind is like, double standards exist, and it's unfair that double standards exist, but sometimes they exist because like I hate to say it like this, and again, this is stemming from a conversation where like, if you don't identify as one gender or the other, or like on a spectrum, whatever, wherever that you fall on that, this conversation was about, the female versus the male gaze specifically as it pertains to like fashion. And I can't stress enough how sad it is that a double standard exists. However, it exists because most people like looking at the female form way more than they like looking at the male form. And I think that that's what it comes back to. And that post kind of just like illustrates that perfectly, where it's like, that guy was in shape and those leggings fit him, but it still was like, this is not what I was expecting to see come across my feed when this came across my feed.
I see why you sent it. I still feel obligated to qualify it as the female form has had a lot more value put behind it than the male form. That's overarchingly fair. But it's fine. Go figure, Caitlin's got to poke at the fucking patriarchy again.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but like, I can't say that that's a poke at the patriarchy as much as it is the fact that like, since the beginning of time, women are nurturers and their bodies are what creates life. So they were held in higher regard just based off their like physical purpose. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like that, like at some point in time, it wasn't just that like men were like, oh yeah. I mean, like there's statues of both men and women's forms, but at the end of the day, the David like is a cool statue, but like far more people are going to be like, this random sculpture of this random woman is always going to draw more eyes simply because it is inherent to like, I don't want to say nurturing, but like nurturing energy.
Well, objectification. Like when you're looking at David, of course, maybe there might be some, observations made about his physique, but the conversation with that specific David statue gets to the actual technique of the art and the like overarching highbrow art. I would argue you get to that part of the conversation faster than any perhaps statue of a woman or a female form. Brittany Broski has kind of a rant on a podcast episode where she's like, it's so sad to see like bronze statues of women, and the breasts are discolored because people have walked up and just grabbed the boobs and take pictures grabbing the boobs of the statue. And it's like this, like, it's like Joan of Arc or like some amazing woman that accomplished something. And that even, and it's, this is her point, but she's like, even the statue of the woman with the boobs worn off and completely discolored because of the oils on hands of, you know, grabbing the female form, that even that discolored statue is a separate piece of art on top of the original piece of art because it's still a commentary on the objectification and sexualization of the female form.
See, I think I'm going to say this, homies. I think Caitlin is far more cynical than I am because I know for a in my brain fact that like just as many dicks get touched on statues or people cup the butt of men's statues, and it just that just doesn't get talked about because I wish I could remember what the fuck its name is, but there's a bronze statue that is sitting on a bench and like the lap is worn off because everybody goes and sits in the lap because it then looks like he's like you're giving him a lap dance. So like I think it happens, it just doesn't get talked about because it's not as like hot button of an issue to like spark that rage.
Perhaps.
See, the cynicism is not cynical to say it that way. So she's like, I will give it credit because I can't confirm nor deny it. However, it doesn't fit my my cynicism. So
not cynicism, maybe just lived experience, you know, like this could absolutely just because we have two completely different lived experiences, and I navigate the world as a woman and you navigate the world as a man. Like, yes, there's obviously things that we're going to experience very differently.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that I think it's probably more equal. I'm not saying that because I'm a guy. I'm just saying because I like grew up around museums and shit constantly and saw like just as many like male butt of statues getting grabbed as I did, you know, people trying to grab boobs. Like I never saw it like predominantly one way or the other. Like I could see how like it could be perceived that way, but like I personally, as a child specifically, being like, that guy just grabbed that butt. That guy just like because I was at the museum and saw it. But I mean, like I said, I can give you the like lived experience of the fact that like we lived two separate experiences, but not because you're different gender than me. I think it's just what you choose to subscribe to versus what I choose to subscribe to based off of like the fact that like we have two separate lived experiences, again, not related to gender, just you're from where you're from, I'm from where I'm from, and I've seen what I've seen and you've seen what you've seen, and you take in the content that you've taken in and I take in the content that I've taken in, and that's where it goes.
Okay.
No, talk your shit. You have a mic.
I'm only like, again, like this, I know that this isn't even like the main focus of this episode or anything, but I just, when we're talking specifically about sexualizing the female form, that's going to be a little bit of a gender specific experience.
So in the sense of people grabbing the boobs of a statue, you're saying that it is impossible for me to understand any other concept because I have a penis?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that our perspective or our worldview, it's not going to be just cynicism or take the gender out of it. It's just a different lived experience. Like, as a woman who has been sexualized from a very young age, like most women in the world, there's going to be a certain connotation and emotion behind any part of this conversation that you're not stupid. You are absolutely one of the most intelligent people that I know. I'm just saying that you can do all the educating that you want to, but it's almost like, I'll relate it to my grief journey or like losing a parent in a horrific way. You can familiarize yourself with the experience, but you're not going to truly understand it until you've been there and done it, if that makes sense. I'm not reducing your worldview. I'm not
Well,
saying that
you
you're
kind of are,
wrong.
not in a negative way, but like I understand what you're saying, but the point that you're making is that it's unquantifiable how much more a woman is going to get sexualized as a statue than a male statue. Therefore, I could never understand the weight of the conversation because I could never understand it.
No, but I mean, I think maybe I just need to chew through the concept more, or I'm maybe just not doing the best job communicating my viewpoint. I think it's
No,
just, once
I understand.
again,
No, I understand what you're saying. I just don't think that you can see it any other way but your lived experience, which is what I was getting at. It has nothing to do with the fact that like I think that like your explanation makes sense. I fully understand that like your outlook on life, while from my side of the line seems like cynicism, which was mostly just a jab at you being cynical as a joke more than actually being cynical. But it, it comes down to like the finding the, I guess, like glass half full versus half empty versus my outlook of it's just a half glass, if that makes sense.
yeah.
So like you will find the glass either half empty or half full in the conversation, no matter what, where I just see a half of a glass, no matter
If
what
we've
it
learned
is.
anything in over 100 episodes of the Holmes Room, it's probably that. The world is
Yeah.
much easier to control and far easy to understand if you uh, see it as black and white. I think I've been socialized into that with my job, and I am actively trying to unlearn that. But it's what it
Yeah.
is.
To me, I don't know. I keep saying it, and I don't. We had an entire episode on it here. Like my brain works vastly differently than everybody else's, so I think a lot of people often think I'm misunderstanding them because I'm trying to make my point while they're still trying to understand the base concept that I put forth. And the natural response to that is always like, well, you don't understand me. It's like, no, I get what you're saying. I'm coming at it from a different angle in the sense that like, I'm not angry about this and I don't have invested feeling about this, not because I don't have invested feeling, just because because I am seeing your side, but I can also see this other side. And I'm somewhere in the middle of that, giving credit to both sides where it matters. And obviously that's like with a grain of salt on certain topics, because some topics it is black and white and you cannot go another direction, which is kind of where we're at in the world today, where a lot of topics are like super black and white. There is no middle ground to be had, and that's the
Yeah.
unfortunate part. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, life in general is so interesting when you come across people that can like see just a half glass, because it's like you're frustrating, and I don't know why you're frustrating, but you're frustrating because I'm telling you a thing and I don't think you're understanding, but you're not making an angry point, you're just making a point, but I know that's not the point that I'm trying to make, so I don't know. So it happens, and you just witnessed it. Anyway, Caitlin, how are you? What else you got going on?
Bro, I had I had a kid this past week as we're recording this start pre-K. And I was pondering on this larger theme on Saturday this past weekend. And I was like, parenting's more fun than I thought it was going to be. And I don't know if it's just, I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, or that's just my kids' very big personalities. Because I don't know if you guys would know this about me. It's very, on brand that I would have 2 kids with large personalities.
Yeah.
But I told Matt before we started recording that my daughter, I tried to have open dialogue with her about the emotions that she was feeling. We've been working with both of them to be able to identify and speak about their emotions. And I was saying, like, how are you feeling about starting a new school? You know, you're going to be in an all new building, you have your new teachers, all new friends. Like, how are you feeling about it? She said, I'm excited. She just kept saying she was excited, she was happy. And the morning of school starting, I was doing her hair and I was like, are you feeling anything negative? It's okay if you're feeling scared or, you know, something other than excited. She's like, no, I just feel excited. So that was really cool to witness. And then to be able to wait and tell her at the end of the school day, like, girl, your parents are so proud of you that you just were so excited about this big new scary adventure, and all you felt were like positive emotions about it. Like, you were just so excited to take on a big new scary adventure. And that, like, uh to sit her down and tell her that we were proud of that, like, it was so cool to watch in real time as the cogs turned in her brain to be like, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's cool. I'm like, and I tell my kids every single day when I drop them off, you are a good friend, you are a good leader, you are brave and smart and strong. And then they both started adding at the very end, and kind too. So that's really cool. So I guess affirmations work, dog. I don't know.
I don't know. I I don't necessarily subscribe to affirmations specifically, so like I'm not gonna comment on that one. But I do think that, like I said when you said that, I said, you know, you have that's because you have a well-adjusted child. Your kid's been going to like daycare, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like it's different, but it's not different. But also, I don't know if you knew this, but fear doesn't exist in kids until we put it there. So like if you're not putting fear into your child about like this experience, especially with like, you know, like I said, you're already in daycare, so that there's already the avenue of mom drops me off somewhere or dad drops me off somewhere. I'm with these people. I'm learning things. This
Mm-hmm.
is the same. This is the same but different. And if anything, this is the same but like now it's real. It's not this pretend world of this because I know what school is because I see it on TV or I see it in a movie or, you know, I read it in a book. And what I go to is like it's kind of like school, but it's also kind of not like school in a way. So like it's if anything, like, you know, it becomes that. Like I know for me, my first day of school, I was like super excited to ride the bus, and I was super excited that I got to go where my sister went because my sister was already in school. So like I got to ride the bus, and I got to ride the bus with my sister and go to school. So like there were all of the things that like were real tangible things that I could perceive as a child as like exciting was just exciting. I didn't have any fear because like there was no fear put in me about it, which just means that as a parent, you weren't like, oh, this is going to be such a big thing. And there's going to be, you know, there's going to be a lot of people and there's going to be like all of those things cue anxiety in your child. And you probably didn't do that. You probably explained it in a very Caitlin, exuberant, but factual way. And they come to know that that means mom is nervous, but mom is also trying to make sure that we are safe.
Mm-hmm. Safe and educated.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also so interesting too. I feel like there's working in law enforcement, you get super used to cops explaining things like cops, meaning my mother-in-law told me the story of some homeless woman that broke into a neighbor's house and was dragging her feet to like get to the end. I'm like, was she taken into custody? Is everyone safe? And I'm like, that's almost immediately how, like, I've told my husband, I'm like, sometimes I wish that you would just like brief me, like I'm being briefed about stuff at work.
Yeah.
But she was, my daughter, after the first day of pre-K, she was like, all right, now can I go to kindergarten?
Yeah.
No, sweetie, not yet. After pre-K.
Yeah, it's like because they probably said in that this is also kind of not school. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is school, but it's not the same thing that I was expecting. And I have a different title than kindergartner, and on TV they don't call you pre-Kers, they call you kindergartners. What is this bullshit? So like, and your kid's smart enough that probably puts that together. But no, I mean that's awesome, and I think that's a big moment. And like I don't want to say that moment only happens once because like every school year, like you take your kid, but like the first time you take them to like a school and you realize that like this is the start of like K through 12 or pre-K through 12.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's a wheel that like most of us have all like gone through in some iteration or some way that like the next journey for you is like, I already know how this plays. I know how this goes and what things you may face or what things you may have to do. And I wonder, you know, whether you're going to like this subject or whether you're going to like that subject or whether you're going to, you know, like, do you play with your friends at recess or are you playing by yourself? Like, there's just so many things that we can perceive that they're just like, fuck it, I'm going somewhere. Yay. You know, I don't know. Being a kid, pure joy, pure joy. That's why working with kids always is so wild to me. Like just seeing it, because I see it all the time, and that's literally what I see. And then it's like, man, your mom's a twat. I can tell just by the way that you act. And I guarantee your kid is not that way. So
very like learned behavior. She might be a bull in a china shop, but she'll at least be nice and stick up for her friends.
Right. And so, hey, and that's the way it should be.
What about you, buddy? Check in. How goes it?
All right. I mean, honestly, like, I am back at work, I guess, is the biggest like navigatable thing. And you know, it's like I've cycled around my job to a bunch of different positions as far as like the rooms that I'm in. So now I'm in another room than I was in even like last year when I got transferred to another room mid-year. So like I've gotten to see how other like I travel classrooms, but like my main base room for special education has also transitioned 3 times now. So I've gotten to see how other special education teachers like do things. And it's so interesting to me because like, you know, we had that conversation about the school supplies and all that shit, but like special education is such an interesting thing that people don't like, they know about, but don't really like know about, I guess. And it's like, man, watching how much these people like devote and how much they're willing to put on the line for the success of this kid, or just to like, you know, support this kid is like wild. And all of them do it. All of them have the same level of like dedication to it. And for any parent to question, you know, educators, it's like, you better have like rock solid fucking like proof that this educator is like failing your kid, not just your kid coming home and saying, when they did such and such. Like, you better have other kids and, you know, talking to other parents, like, have you heard this? People that have been through that teacher's class before. Because they're like, just seeing how much, like, there are some bad teachers, I'm not saying there are not, but just seeing how dedicated teachers are to like just the sheer, like, you love your kid. And I'm going to say, Caitlin, like specifically your kid, you love your kid. However, when your kid is half asleep because they stayed up a little bit later than they should, you had to get up earlier, or something is off and they got out the door just a little bit later, like, you have no idea what that version of your kid looks like in those situations where it's like being poked or prodded or pushed to like say ABCs the right way. And it's like, or just sit and be quiet. So like, they're dealing with like not only the best versions of your kid, but also the worst versions that you've probably never seen because you've never tried to like do those things. And if you have, you're still mom or dad, so they wouldn't behave for you the way they would for them. And like watching their patience level, it's just like, man, this is a person that's like dedicated to this thing. So for people to talk shit about them, it's like, you need to see this moment. Like, this is the moment you need to be watching, because if you're not watching this moment, you should shut the fuck up. That's what I got.
It genuinely breaks my brain when I think about the fact that some dumbass like Tom Brady can get $1 million for throwing around some leather and cheating, but I don't know. We don't have to go down that rabbit hole. But yet, special educators, specifically educators in general, who are quite literally shaping the minds of the next generation, get paid dog shit. I don't understand how that is the world at all.
Like I said, I moved rooms because I follow the need. And like specifically, like I say, I follow the need because some people are not necessarily capable of working with all children and they know their limits, and that's fine. I am like the utility piece that they kind of just move around. So like, I actually ended up having to take $1 pay cut to go where I am now because I went where the need was, but my job didn't change from this year to last year. It just my title did. And because my title did, I got $1 less. And it's wild because I'm still dealing with the same thing. My job has not changed almost at all, but my title changed because of the room that I've transitioned into. So like, yeah, it's like, yep, I took $1 pay cut. And that's wild to me that like educators who have been doing this for forever are still not, not making like the money that they should make. And with what's going on in the education area, like right now, there's so many questions about like the longevity of this. And, to me, I always think about like the thing that like as a parent, I would have never known about, but as a like a person in a school now, seeing the curriculum and the books and the this and the that and the worksheets and all that kind of stuff, it's different from when we were younger. And like knowing that like they're buying a curriculum, essentially, it's not just like sent out from like the ether. Like I never thought about where workbooks came from for like younger children. Like it just wasn't a thing. So to think about it now and be like, damn, this is money that like is being paid to do this thing. And I'm hoping that my child is attending to doing this when it matters. And maybe I should take more stock in like how many of these papers they bring home, because they're working out of a book that is, like a tear out worksheet book. And it seems really simple, but that times, 150 kids, like that's probably real fucking expensive. And if I don't want to support my school, or I don't want or I'm acting like the government's not supporting my school is a good thing. It's like, again, I said before, like, do you want to go back to the COVID days where you were teaching your kids? Because that's what you're going to get if we keep going this way. And that's not good for anybody.
Oh
like,
my God.
Did I tell you the stat about like how, like, I think it was like 70% of Americans couldn't find the Pacific Ocean on a map or some shit. It was like a wild, it was like a bunch of random stats that like where education is and the retention of like simple knowledge. And it was like, I think it was like 30 questions that they surveyed. And again, you're obviously about surveys, but like they asked, and the numbers were like mind boggling when it came to like what people didn't know in like basic form. It was like, I wish I could remember the other one, because it's like, it's stupid. It's really, like it was like cardinal direction based, but I don't remember what it was. So it's like, it was like something to do with north, south, west, and east. And I don't remember if it was the sun. I don't remember if it was like the earth spin. Like it was something like that, like, duh, this is why. And the way that they related it. And when I read the question, I was like, ooh, that's like kind of like third, fourth grade, like level learning right there. That's sad.
First of all, I was giggling just now because it always, I'm constantly forgetting some of the conversations that we've had in real time. Like as soon as you said survey, yeah, we know what you feel about the surveys, Caitlin. I was instantly like, ugh, in my brain, I was like, I hate surveys. You said it at the same time. I was like, wait, of course Matt knows that. We've talked about data before. I'm so scared at how dumb people are getting.
Yeah.
And I don't say like it's that old Einstein quote of like, if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, like whatever, of course it's going to fail. But like basic common sense things, like we are losing the ability to write. We are losing the ability to read.
Yeah, that was on that survey too.
We are losing the ability to critically think.
Yeah.
Like the best example I can think of that is back in like the Civil War. If you go back through and read some of the letters from these 17-year-old soldiers that were writing back from home, from the battleground, it's like they're Shakespearean fucking poets, you know? But like, I don't know. And of course, larger trend of attention spans are shortening. AI's horrible for a lot of things, most things, academia, obviously horrible for our planet as well. And once again, all of that will happen. They're going to try to automate as much of the educational process as they can, which will still only result in less jobs and shit pay for educators. Like, how do we fix, like, I don't know.
That's what I don't know. He said some stuff the other day that kind of like put me off a little bit, but like way back when I think it was, I don't know if it was 2016 or if it was 2020, but Andrew Yang was running, and he was running on the platform about stop automation, because automation is going to destroy society. Like we need to not do this. And if we're going to do this, then we at least need to be smart about it and understand areas that like automation is like almost an impossibility to not do, in areas where like we need to make sure automation is never possible. So like, you know, he talked to a lot of unions about, you know, the stop automation. And now it's like so many things are automated that like it's almost hard. Like one of my least favorite things right now is like just scrolling through social media in general, and it's like, that why are there so many like AI generated like pictures? And it's like it has not, like you can tell that it was originally a picture taken by somebody, and they used an AI filter, and then it fixed all this stuff and turned it into not even a cartoon. It looks like a real image, but it's just slightly not a real image. And it almost always gives me pause, like, why does that look so weird? And then I realize, oh, because it's AI. And like there's a difference between cartoonizing yourself and you know, doing an AI filter that like changes your background or changes your, like I've posted some of them where it like makes us a cartoon talking. Like there's a difference between doing that and taking your real self and like, you know, almost turning yourself into like a video game character version and getting rid of like the human aspect. Like you are letting a robot turn you into fake content. How does that, like, where are we at in this cycle? Why is that what you want?
Well, even within that same vein, like just earlier today, I was scrolling on TikTok, and one of my favorite content creators, Andrew, he's a lawyer in Kansas City. He was like, watch this video, and he showed a video of himself being like, here's how to hack into your partner's Instagram profile. But then he cuts back to himself before he showed the video, and he was like, that wasn't a real video, that was a fucking deep fake. Like deep fakes are getting better, and as somebody that exists in this space of like digital evidence and digital based investigations, it's going to get to the point where we're going to need digital forensic scientists to actually testify to the validity and the realism of videos.
But you know what? It's going to be sad because they're not going to be able to get the education they need because we're not smart enough. and
oh my gosh.
Facts.
Okay, I wasn't feeling cynical before we started this buddy check-in, but now I'm feeling a little bit cynical, Matt. We're going to have to end on a positive note. Okay, perfect positive note. Holmes room breaking news, hot off the press. As of today, I officially got a promotion at work.
Yay. Good job.
So, more money, which is great. I still exist within a very broken administration and system, but more money. Yeah, and I'm having a hard time feeling proud of myself just because it's still cool. I'm getting paid more to deal with the same variety of shit sandwich day in and day out.
Yeah.
I love my job. I love the nature of my job. I love the work that I get to do. It's the larger system and the larger powers that be that are making it very difficult for us to ethically do our jobs, and it's not as much fun as it used to be. So I like variety in my day. I like to have fun in my day. So yeah, of course, I'm happy about more money, but I want more fun too. Hello.
Yeah, there you go. Congratulations. That's awesome. That's like obviously a long time coming because
Mm-hmm.
we've talked about it, but good job. I'm glad that like it's finally paid off, and I'm glad that like, you know, anytime somebody is appreciated, even though you feel the way that you do about the situation, but anytime somebody's appreciated and it's shown in a monetary way where your main purpose is to make a living, it makes me happy. So like at the end of the day, the thing that you're doing that like somebody has to do, but also like the thing that you make from what I've heard you say, a like substantial difference doing, even if it's, you know, the day-to-day work that you do that like other people like kind of suck at or don't do as thorough of a job or as like passionate of a job, because it seems like a job that you still kind of got to have some passion about. Like you're getting recognized for it and you're getting paid a little bit more for it. So good job, Caitlin.
Thank you. That was one thing that my bosses said. They're like, we talk to contractors around the country all the time on Teams calls. You are the only one in the nation that when you start feeling passionately about something, like you physically can't sit still in your chair. Like you get physically agitated.
As it
And I'm
should
like,
be.
And I'm like, because the people in my city and like society deserves better. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Society deserves better. And, you know, so do we. So share episodes with your friends, all that stuff. The normal like gobbledygook that we throw at the end of the episodes where we're like, yo, help us out, help us grow. We definitely need that. Alyssa yelled at me the last time I went to the pretzel, or the time before the last time I went to the pretzel truck, about how I posted that video of nobody wants to see a get ready with me. Caitlin's the attractive one. I'm just like, nobody wants to see that. I've gotten told by several people that like I have to do get ready with me because they also want to see it. So I was like, I gotta figure that out. But I don't know what I'm gonna do because I don't have the hair to brush. So I don't know.
Would you brush the hair, turn the plant light timer on?
That's already on. That comes on in the morning with the sun and goes off at night with the sun setting. So like I don't have to worry about that one. But like I said, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. I did it once. I did that like forever ago where I did, you know, get ready with me.
I loved it.
I did an early iteration. I don't know how I would top that one because that one was so good, but like maybe I'll just repurpose it and be like, this is my get ready with me, and then hide. But anyway, like I said, if you're listening to this part, share with your friends. If you have a favorite episode, call that episode out, share it specifically. Go comment on that episode on Spotify if you are on Spotify, because you can comment now. Go comment on it on YouTube because you can comment on it on YouTube. Also, side note, fuck social media sometimes, because we have a video that got shadow banned on every platform, and we were talking about how orgasms, specifically like pleasure, like you don't need to reach a goal to have pleasure. You can just have pleasure without the goal. And it was a good freaking clip and point. And TikTok took the sound away and then removed all views. And then like Instagram muted it. So like it had like 24 views. And then Facebook said, this goes against our guidelines, delete. So like legit everywhere. And I'm pretty sure Threads like didn't even post it. Like I'm pretty sure that one was like, can't post this, and then it didn't even show up. So like
rude.
Yeah, it's like whatever. It's like I guess I'd have to go to X, which I don't really want to do, but like that's the only place that would probably accept it, and that's sad. When X is doing better than the rest of you, you got issues. We don't though, because we love each other. Bye.
The bell is about to ring. If you want to drop us a voice message or simply ask a question, you can do that by clicking the link in the show notes below. Be sure to leave us a 5-star review. It helps more people find us. Theme music by Kinsey. More music available on Spotify. Remember, every day is a class. Go learn something.
Join us next time on the Homes Room Podcast. when you have a microphone in your face, or when you're in the public eye, or when are filming a TV or movie or whatever, you have a persona that exists in the media, you have a persona that exists in your craft, and you have a persona that exists outside of all of that. And sometimes those people do things that you're like, ew, I don't like you no more. Or, damn, you know what? I kind of love you. And that's what we're talking about today, is stars and people who have done things that have like made us be like, ugh, or, you know what? I actually like you. And I thought this was a good topic simply because right now, like, Hollywood itself is so political, and I keep having the same conversation with people who are surprised by a star being one thing or the other. And most of the time it's like surprised